All right, so I want to walk you through this image that I posted not too long ago on Instagram, and it's called When the Dead Things Fly. Why? I don't know. That creepy side of me. Okay, so initially when I saw, I actually saw this this branch. I mean, it's a tree, really fallen tree. I saw it during my camping trip, and I really wanted to create a completely different image with this one. I already had the clothing with me. I had the rope, and I was going to kind of like being tied up a little bit and somewhere in the woods, and it was inspired by a Japanese image that I have seen. And I took a screenshot of it, and I thought, you know what, I would like to create my own version of that. But because there were so many challenges, let's say during the camping trip, I ended up forgetting my sleeping bag, and I was literally freezing to death. And it wouldn't be so bad if I realized that a little bit earlier, so I could go to some sort of like a local 10-minute away supermarket, which I shopped before for food and water. Even like a blanket, but then I realized it was 10-11 o'clock at night that I don't have my sleeping bag. So I woke up the next morning so discouraged that I didn't take the photo. I said, you know, I'm only an hour away anyways from the location, so I can always come back. So I created a different image. So my description on Instagram of this image isn't exactly accurate, but I didn't want to waste too much time. I'm already rambling for 2.5 minutes almost, so I didn't want to take people's time that they would read details. So the image of myself being positioned under the branch was taken sometime in February. So in January, I went for an exhibition to London, and I wore this dress, this very dress. And I took a few images, a few styles. One of them was this one, but I initially posted completely different and edited completely different. It was like, you know, shot from the top, and I was a little bit more sitting in like a squat position. I think that's how you say it, in sitting position. And so I sorry, it's a some sort of commercial on YouTube. Let's bring the music back. And so I was sitting on the floor initially with the dress, and then edited that picture, and then I left some of these photographs untouched. I thought maybe there will be a day when I'm actually going to use them. So I went to use them. Well, then maybe just a little bit take it down on the microphone, because I think you're hearing me too much. Okay. So anyways, so this was the image that I chose for this photograph. So I thought, if I can combine this photograph with something else that I have at home, because I haven't deleted these extra images yet, so maybe I can work with that. And of course my screen is over here, the big one, so I'm going to be looking a little bit away. Alright, so this is the final image, but I started from this. So initially I was supposed to be sitting somewhere around here, sitting, maybe laying down a little bit, or I had my kimono, I had my robes, and I thought I would be a little bit maybe somehow tied up in a way. And so I mean I had the image in my head to kind of, but I wanted to, as always, experiment a little bit different. There is the woods have amazing, it's an amazing location. They have the wilderness, and how it's untouched, and is just amazing. So there's a lot of things that you can choose to photograph. And then I had a different location. I thought, okay, I already have a different dress, so I would like to again photograph myself a little bit differently. But you know, I did two photographs, 2 sets one day, and then I was going to come back to the 2 other sets the other day, but I never did, for the reasons I have already mentioned. So this was the idea, that I would be sitting somewhere around here, sitting there where I'm lying down. So I photographed this and then added myself a little bit later. And now I'm going to show you what I did. And as you can already see, I have here smart filters and camera raw. So I've already added myself. I created layer mask. I removed background. I was laying down a blue background, so I removed that. Let me see if we can see. Yeah. So I was holding shoes. So here's one and here's another. My favorite pair of shoes, by the way. For the price I paid, they have to be my favorite. And so, yeah, there were very interesting details in this one. There were like these branches over here. Sorry, just clicked on it accidentally. The branches, like kind of some of them were out here. So I thought, why not just use them? Like this one and this one, and just kind of, maybe that would pierce me, or maybe they wouldn't pierce me, but in either way, I think I will somehow maybe use them like that. So I edited them in a way that they are still somewhat visible, I think. So let me zoom out. Okay. And so, of course, what do we need to do now? Start playing with textures, my favorite, and colors, of course. So I added a texture. So you already know that, you know, I created a layer mask, which is right over here. And the layer mask, of course, don't ask me to, I mean, this one was at opacity 100. So everything you see around here is the original opacity 100. And then, of course, with creating a layer mask and then using the brush tool, I would just kind of erase, like, as always. So I chose the brown one because I had a little bit of vision that it should be somewhat brownish, but desaturated brown. But I didn't desaturate it in a way that I thought would work. I went completely different direction, as you can see over here. But what I wanted to do is to have that texture. It was the kind of the colorations and over here. So I like the texture. So I thought, and of course in the middle it was a little bit brighter. So yeah, I thought this actually would work. And I wanted to leave some of the leaves, so people would see that this is not just kind of hanging in the somewhere out in the black background, but it's actually somewhere in the woods, and you know, and there are some leaves in there. So I did that. So I kept everything, the entire layer at 100% opacity, and then I took it down with a little bit. I don't know if you can actually see it, because I mean this is the final, and the final hold on a sec. Yeah, so in the final opacity was at 100, so I don't really have the data over here on the top, opacity, flow and smoothing, just what I was using for a brush. I was experimenting. Sometimes it was at, you know, opacity, my brush was at opacity 20, you know, 8.7. I don't really go like 30 or 25. I just kind of find the feel. Sometimes it was at, you know, 14. Sometimes I would just bump it to 70, depending what I wanted to how I wanted to achieve it, and just how much, let's say, fog I wanted to keep. versus how it's supposed, how, you know, how visually I wanted to have it. The only thing is that, you know, I was camping in July. I think it was July. Yeah, it was July. June, late of June, July, something like that. July. And so there was a lot of green. So if you would go there, let's say, you know, in autumn, it would be even more creepy because all these leaves would be just completely down and yeah. So these over here are green leaves. They wouldn't appear, but that's okay. I mean, I work with what I have, and I didn't necessarily need to remove them. I thought they're already there. I'll work with it. So, okay, so then I created, what did I add? Okay, butterflies. So I have presets with butterflies, and I thought I also have butterflies that are not real. I'd say dead, unreal. I mean, real but dead, nothing such. I have them made of cloth. I know it sounds a little bit creepy, but there's not a cloth butterfly that can somehow subsidize the real butterfly. But in this case, I downloaded some butterflies long ago. It wasn't exactly, you know, 5 minutes before I was taking this photograph. It was long ago. Editing this photograph, it was long ago, but maybe 2-3 years ago. I went crazy on Etsy, and I started buying a lot of the balloons because I needed a balloon for one of my photos, which I actually wanted to use it over here as well, a balloon, like, you know, escaping, like a little statement, but I didn't use a balloon. I thought I would just use butterflies, and I've already have butterflies in my other photograph, the one with the umbrella. But I thought, you know, butterflies, you can never go wrong with butterflies. Butterflies are beautiful, and they just kind of, you know, they're beautiful, and I think they represent also kind of life and death situation, because one time they're here and then they fly away and they're gone. Or human relations, you never see them again, and people, some people. So yeah. The only thing that I did, the butterflies were blue. I think originally, as I remember, I think they were blue. So I wanted to make a little statement, but I didn't exactly know which direction to go. So I did change the color, which in the end, it didn't really work for me. So they're kind of purplish, magenta-ish thing. But yeah, so these are my butterflies. But then I thought, one set of butterflies may not be enough. How about we add another set of butterflies? And so I did the second set of butterflies. They're a little bit different, as you can see. Let me just... it's another... I'm using just background music for license free, and unfortunately it's giving me some commercials, but okay. So let's zoom into the butterflies. So you can see that the butterflies are over here. Now, the butterflies, this isn't because I thought maybe I will, if I forget, then now I remember, so I'm gonna say. The butterflies, they are sharp as a preset. The butterflies are very sharp. I mean, those that are blurry here, they are blurry, like this one and this one. But overall, the rest of the butterflies, they are sharp. So what I added grain to them, and I added motion to them, because I thought if everything is a little bit not overly as 100% sharp, I mean, they're supposed to give a little bit of movement. I mean, the branch is sharp. I am somewhat matching the grain of the branches, but in the end, I didn't want to have them very, very sharp. I wanted them somehow blend in with the grain and a little bit with movement. So they have just like a slight, I think, 15-degree motion. So not a whole lot, but just enough to give. So these are the white butterflies, and these are the purple butterflies. So I added these two presets. Okay, and then I added a texture because I thought it still needed some sort of texture. But I experimented with scratches. I experimented with water drops, which I have them as well. I have like a lot of scratches presets, so yeah. So I experimented with that as well. So I added a little another texture, and it was a colored texture. And I thought, you know, let me just maybe remove some of the things. Oh, you cannot see it. Okay, that's because it's in the hue. But maybe let's just see if we can change that to normal. Okay, so this was this one. Yeah, and it's as of normal, it was this one. But I took opacity to 77%. And I left fill at 100%. Sometimes when I look at opacity and fill, I don't, you know, the difference is so small when you're just working on both of them. But yeah, let's go back to hue. That I usually work only with opacity. I mean, there is sometimes some fill there as well, but for the most part it's opacity. So I took it down to hue, and it gave me also a little bit, you know, funky color. And I thought the green is actually nice to keep because you know, it still symbolizes life, and it still symbolizes a little bit of you know, even the trees fallen, but it's still, there's kind of the don't know really what they're called, the things growing on green, like a layer. They're super soft and nice on the trees. So I wanted to kind of maybe emphasize that a little bit. So I, you know, positioned the layer away, you know, in a way. I removed whatever outside that was not necessary. And this was the image. So I also wanted to thought, okay, so this is the image. Now I was kind of sort of satisfied with it. But I thought, if I can find a preset that in my Lightroom that can just give me a little bit of bump to it. And I love dark images for some reason. So I thought, if I could somehow, you know, do that, turn it a little bit darker, why not? And so I did. So I went to the Lightroom and found a preset from some kind of woodland preset or something, and then we agreed with Lightroom that it's going to be this way, and I like it. Now I tried to crop it into square, but it was just too chaotic, so I left it in its original size, because right here your eye wanders into the center and just kind of focuses. When it was square, the eye was kind of everywhere and the image was too cropped, and it was just too much of it, and I didn't feel like it was doing enough. I thought it was extremely chaotic. So yeah, so we settled for this one. I wanted to actually show this to you earlier, but I suffered a major throat hurt, and I lost my voice completely. I could only whisper or send messages to people via messenger or auto communication. So I had to postpone that in a way that I would still sit here, talk for about 20 minutes without coughing extensively. So today was the day. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, I get a lot of questions on Instagram, so that's my main source. But I always, as well as I, you know, just check the videos out if it's somehow in any way helpful. But thank you for watching.